Hey guys, it's Will, the Deep Sky Dude. I've got a quick and interesting video here. Most of y'all know I'm training to become a private pilot. I'm getting really close to the end of my training, so I'm doing my solo flights, my cross-country flights. I did my first solo cross-country a couple days ago, and so today was going to be a long cross-country. You can see to Jasper, Lufkin, Texas, and then back to Beaumont, Texas. So I'm getting the plane ready, getting everything started up here, and once I get the engine running, I start noticing some things wrong with the airplane. Now, I'm a very inexperienced pilot. I've only got about 37 or so hours on this particular aircraft and in total. So there's things that I don't know. There's things that I am not really sure about. And so you'll start to see some of that kind of come out in this video.
LS approach. Notice airman. Runway 30, wind cone unlit. Unlit tower, 1 nautical mile.
Basically here I'm getting the weather, getting everything set up for the flight, making sure I have everything in order, and I'll be contacting the tower and letting them know I'm ready to go. But before I do, you'll notice that I'm looking at things a little bit longer than normal. I'm kind of bumping around, the engine's kind of backfiring on me. I can hear a pop every once in a while. But right now I'm kind of focused on getting my instruments set. Not too worried about the engine at this point. I'm not ready to look at that yet.
VOR 493 feet AGL. Advise on initial contact. You have information kilo. Blackbook's regional information kilo, time 1353 Zulu, wind 060 at 9er. Weather better than 5005, temperature 27, 2.21, altimeter 3010, landing and departing runway 12, expect the ILS approach. Notice airman, runway 30, wind cone unlit. Unlit tower, 1 nautical mile north of the Beaumont.
So I have the weather now. I'm going through my stuff, making sure I get all my frequencies correct. I've got to start talking to the tower and make sure I have the proper clearances.
Need anything else?
Now you can see when I throttle back here, the whole airplane starts to shimmy, and so that's caught my attention. And I'm looking out front. Now I'm hearing popping. I'm not sure if it's a backfire. I'm not sure if there's an engine cowling open. That's why you see me kind of looking over the dash. I noticed something isn't exactly the way it should be, so I removed the headphones to see if I can get a better audio clue as to what's going on. As soon as I remove my headphones, the popping basically stops. I'm not hearing anything, so I'm like, it's a cold engine. Maybe it's, it's just getting some moisture out of the engine, whatever the case may be. Again, I'm not a very experienced pilot, so I'm just kind of testing the waters here to make sure everything seems okay to me. This is my second solo cross-country, so a lot's going through my head on these particular missions, and it's easy to miss stuff for sure. But I'm going through the systems, and I'm getting ready to start making my calls to the tower and making sure that I have the proper clearances to taxi to the runway.
Beaumont clearance, Warrior November 8204 Juliet.
Warrior 8204 Juliet, Beaumont clearance.
Yeah, student pilot looking for a VFR departure toward Juliet Alpha Sierra. Gonna do some touch and goes, head to Lufkin, and then come back.
Warrior 8204 Juliet, stand by and break. Helicopter 27 Whiskey, say again. Helicopter 27 Whiskey, Roger, you familiar with the antennas in airspace? Warrior 04 Juliet, say again the last transmission.
Student pilot looking for a VFR departure to Juliet Alpha Sierra, then headed over to Lufkin, back to Beaumont, looking for 4,500 with flight following.
Warrior 04 Juliet, maintain VFR at or below 2,500 on initial climb. Departure frequency 121.3, squawk 4516.
Okay, VFR at or below 2,500, departure frequency 121.3, and squawk 4516, 04 Juliet.
Warrior 04 Juliet, read back correct. Willie, Portal 1 arrival, climb and maintain 3,000, expect flight level 200, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 121.3, squawk 5201.
At this point, I'm definitely
Citation
feeling the engine out, listening, feeling the plane. Stuff has my attention.
And Beaumont ground, Warrior November 8204 Juliet at KUSA, ready to taxi.
8204 Juliet, Beaumont ground, runway 12 taxi via taxiway Delta, hold short, runway 16.
Okay, runway 12 via Delta, hold short 16, 04 Juliet. Ah, that wind feels good. It's a hot one today, unlike the last flight that I did. Okay. In the mixture for taxi.
Oddly enough, at this point, the plane is running fine, at least as far as I can tell. I'm not feeling any roughness. I'm not hearing any more popping or backfiring. Everything seems to be in order. So, in my mind, the plane is warm now. She's ready to fly. Everything's good. So I'm going to taxi out to where I'm supposed to be and get the job handled.
Pull out a diagram here.
I got a 27 Whiskey, Beaumont Tower.
Checking a taxi diagram that I have there, which is always a useful tool. I find it very useful to, when I'm taxiing, I have a laminated copy of the airport taxi diagram, so I know where my runways are.
Pipeline 1, where will your route take you from there? Pipeline 1, roger. You're going to have a helicopter joining you from the north.
Here's my Delta sign, so I'm taking a right because we're going to runway 12. Off we go on the new taxiway. I think that's probably a good key. Pretty good last time, this particular angle, so I'm gonna stick with it for now. It'll only work though if you're not flying with somebody. If you are flying with somebody, you have to put it like right here.
Making a westbound turn now out on the Victor route outbound. Pipeline 1, roger, and that helicopter should be no factor for you. They're currently about 3 miles north of the airport.
Buddy at the terminal today. Here's good old Beaumont Terre.
Warrior 04 Juliet, cross runway 16 at Delta.
Okay, cross 16 at Delta, 04 Juliet, thanks. This is nice. Gave me the clearance to cross. This is runway 16 and 34, so I'll go ahead and check visually. Make sure. A helicopter over there, but nobody else. So I'll cross that. Temperature is 89 right now. Let's see what it is. 4,000 or so. I'm gonna hold short runway 12 before I enter it.
Okay, so as most pilots know, maybe if you're not a pilot you don't know this, right before you take off you do what's called a run-up. You grab your checklist and you pull the engine up to about 2,000 RPMs in this case of this aircraft, and you check your systems to make sure everything is going to be okay for flight, and you do this for a specific reason, and I'm about to show you why right here.
Checklist regional information, Lima, current altimeter 3010. Warrior 04 Juliet, advise when you have Lima.
Now I switch to the left magneto.
Okay, I'll advise when I have Lima, 04 Juliet.
And you can see I'm trying to do a radio call there. I'm having a massive drop in RPM. You can see it right there. Way down. At this point, I'm like confused at what I'm looking at. I'm trying to assess the situation. Like, is this an issue? So I go back to both magnetos, go to the right one, normal drop.
That left magneto, I don't know about that, man. I'm gonna let it sit for a second. I'm gonna do it one more time.
Helicopter 27 Whiskey, Beaumont Tower. Helicopter 27 Whiskey,
I ain't
approved.
flying that shit. I ain't flying that that. Thing's backfiring, it's sputtering, it's shaking the whole airplane. Hell no. And Beaumont Tower, I'm gonna have to taxi back to KUSA. I've got a left magneto issue, it seems.
Where's your 4 Juliet, Roger? And you want me to go ahead and cancel that VFR flight plan for you?
Yeah, if you can, sir, that would be good. I'm gonna go back and see what they say about this. Thank you.
4 Juliet, Roger, and you could make a 180 there and taxi the ramp via taxiway Delta cross runway 16.
Okay, back through Delta, cross 16, 04 Juliet, thanks.
No problem, anytime.
Part of being a good pilot is making good decisions, and I would not fly on that.
You can see the frustration here. I was ready to go. I was so super excited to fly this, but at the end of the day, you got to scrub a flight if it's not good to go. I messaged my buddy Tom right after this, who's been a commercial pilot for years, very experienced guy, and he said, you just found out why landings are mandatory, but takeoffs are optional. And that's like a pilot cliche that I'm sure a lot of pilots have heard. It was the first time I had heard that. It really hit home, and it's something that I'll remember for forever, especially after today and kind of the way things went.
I don't know. I don't know enough about airplanes to say that that was okay. You know, with backfiring, it was backfiring on me at the ramp, and I figured I'd come out here and do run up, check it, see what the plane thought about it. No. Last thing I need to do as a student pilot on my second cross-country solo is lose a magneto or some such and only be getting partial power on the engine. That's a recipe for disaster. Nope.
So that's basically it, y'all. I appreciate you watching. My main goal with this video is to hopefully help another student pilot out there, or maybe even a pilot that's got years and years of experience that has gotten complacent over the years. I don't know. Hopefully somebody out there will take some kind of good from this video. I know it taught me an extremely valuable lesson. Obviously, run-ups are something that I've always done. I would never not do. But to me, this mission and this failure of a mission highlights to me the importance of all those little procedures that you do as a pilot. Do them all. Do your checklist. Make sure you're doing everything you need to be doing. Make sure that aircraft is airworthy. And you won't get yourself into a situation that would require some kind of, an emergency situation or whatever. I hope this helps. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you on the next flight.